I'm stood up on a roof, sunrise, 9/11/2015, 14 years after the day, and you're looking at the new World Trade Center, or whatever it's called. It's still going to be the World Trade Center. It's about 5 miles away. So, you know, we talk about where we were when certain things happened, and we remember, you know, I remember precisely who told me and where when Princess Diana died. I remember certain things, and I specifically remember 9/11. I was running a business in Manchester, England, essentially a call centre. And there was a guy worked there called Pete. I can't remember his last name. He got a message from his girlfriend that a plane had flown into the one of the Twin Towers, and we laughed about it because at the time, the ridiculousness of something like that happening, it just seemed like a bad joke. I remember going downstairs for a coffee, and on a big screen, seeing the reality, which I still thought was a movie. And it just didn't sink in. So I called an old business partner in Canada, and I couldn't get through to the office. There was no answer. I called him on his cell phone. I said, the office is closed. And he said, are you kidding me? It's right by the airport in Toronto. Yeah, but we don't close for business. And then, for some reason, that was the one thing that kind of struck me as, shit, this is serious. And we didn't understand back then the whole chain of events that occurred. And the world changed on that day. 14 years ago today, the world changed. Now, take that forward. Less than 10 years, when I come to New York, my office was 23 floors up, all glass. The next building, the one that didn't get taken out, but all the windows got blown out. And that's where I was based for a while. And, you know, I just saw it as a building coming up. It didn't really connect or resonate until I went into a bar, O'Hara's, right by World Trade Center. And I was talking with the guy that owns it, and he told me the full story that, you know, straight after it, they were the only people allowed in the area. It was cordoned off. They had to go out and clear off their rooftop, which I guess looked like this, because what he told me is if it rained, the amount of debris that was on their roof, the weight of it getting wet would drag the buildings down. And he was telling me about finding shoes and wallets and bags and all kinds of stuff as it's clearing off. And then you meet the guys, some of the guys that work there who were actually in the towers when they came down, and there's a whole bunch of stories. But what he told me is for a year, well, for years, the whole area was dead. He told me it took him 6 months to open back up, and he never had another customer for another 6 months, till the day, the 1 year anniversary, where a member of the fire department came in, ripped off his badge, stapled it to the ceiling. I've not been in there for a few years, but there's probably over about 5,000 cop and fire department badges in there. It's part of the history. They have something called a book. It's a book of photographs that are not shown out in public. It's just the book, and it's first-hand experience. Then it started really hitting me where I was. Then I started doing some work with some families, nothing to do with this, just so happened. There were families of cops and people that died at 9/11. And this is not a sad situation in terms of, that's not why I'm doing this video. The reality is, We just never know what's around the corner. Things in Europe right now are hotting up. We never know what's around the corner. So for today, do something. Because, you know, not being morbid or anything, we're all going to die. Got news for you. But today, do something that makes a difference. I'm not going to the site today because I just don't believe in going back. I believe in living in the present moment. I believe in preparing for the future. So looking out on it, it's never going to resonate with me the same as it does with anyone who was actually here at the time. But I'm more than aware of the people how they suffered with the aftermath. So, from New York, on the roof, overlooking the site. Barely see it from here. In reality, it's about 20 minutes away. Guys, 9/11, sure, it's a day to remember, but what could you remember 9/11 2015 for? Today is it. From New York,